for all of ye, actually. And start with you, Tom. Detox 101. Will you ask the boys when is the last time they saw someone pull hard or double overhead on a ball? It must be years. When was the last time? I'd say it could be nearly in your day, Tom.
I'd say, yeah, it could have been back at Ned Wheeler's time now at this stage, to be honest with you. But no, again, the game has changed so much, Michael. You know, I was just listening to Cyril Farrell the other night, and he was saying that he believes the game is after slowing up. And a lot of us kind of, I suppose, dinosaurs now at this stage would love to see that kind of action, the long puck out, you know, somebody standing under Adrian with Sambo standing under it and maybe Sambo trying to catch it and Adrian trying to double overhead. It just doesn't happen anymore. And it is a loss from the game. And I don't think we'll ever see it back from where it was, because I was even watching the Wexford training session there last night. It's all about finding the man. And, you know, I genuinely don't think it's a loss to the game. There's no doubt about that. You know, the clash of the ash, I'd say there's not 3 hurleys broken in a season now at this stage, you know, because everything is kind of changed. But no, it would be lovely. It would be lovely, but maybe it's just the old person talking in me to see a 15 on 15, quick moving ball, ground hurling, team to the forwards, winning All Ireland. But I don't think we're going to see that anymore. And now the other thing that's really bugs me, I have to say, and we do it as well, Michael, but conceding the puck outs, I don't believe that's the way forward, but because it slows the game down. But the likes of Limerick and them will destroy you if you concede the puck outs. And last year, Adrian, we conceded the puck outs to Antrim, or not Antrim, to Westmeath, I should say. And I didn't think there was a necessity to do that. And we ended up drawing with Westmeath because of that, really, you know. So I'd like to see a little bit of traditionalism coming back into it now.
Sambo, what do you think? Is hurling better or worse for maybe the absence of a bit of ground hurling, the absence of the overhead pull, the overemphasis maybe on the hand pass? What do you think modern hurling is like? Do you enjoy watching it as much as maybe when you were playing in your own days?
No, to be honest, I don't. I think the game's evolved. I agree with everything Tom says, and that there maybe we are dinosaurs. Looking back with rose-tinted glasses, not every game was good, but the game has definitely changed. It's more athletic, more physical, and the skill level's definitely gone through the roof. But the big changes for me is the ball. The ball for me just travels too far now. Like whenever you go out there and you train your under 15s or something, they're putting the balls over from 80 yards out, and you see the Limerick, they're scoring points now from their own 21. And in our day, the pockets would have went to midfield and then they progressed to the half back line. Now they're hitting the full forward line. There's so much of the game passed, and it's all about possession and breaking the lines and going through the lines. It can be very monotonous as well. It's getting very footballerish. If probably me football friends are not like that statement, but it's getting very pedestrianised at times, going through and holding possession. But the skill level, I don't think the boys or any of us can say that the skill level now is going through the roof. The touch of that Limerick team, everything about them has just took the game to a new level as far as athleticism and skill level goes. But that man-on-man thing still, we harp back to it, you know, is it maybe the 2010 All-Ireland, Kilkenny Tip, them sort of games, you know, they were just on the edge of their seat stuff.
Adrian, you'd have good memories of 2010, wouldn't you?
Yeah, again, as a Kilkenny man, that great team, but I agree with the boys entirely. And Fan Larkin, a great Kilkenny star of the past. That's Fan's hobby horse down in Kilkenny. He maintains the ball is too light, that you have an under 14 match now and you go to it, and then we have a specialised free taker. We on local radio, we're involved, and we just hate, as we say, the short puck out. We ban the short puck out. I think the short puck out ruins the game. Yes, the skill levels have gone up, and yes, the athleticism has gone up, and that can only be good for the game. And the boys are right. I suppose when you look back at the games in the past that we were involved in, you're nearly embarrassed now to tell your kids I hurled there, because the game sometimes looks so slow. And they'd say, "Did you win that? Did you play that?" You'd say, "No, I didn't." You kind of deny. You're like you kind of deny that you were involved back then. But we were fit. We thought we were fit. We enjoyed it, I think, more. I think it's gone so serious, you know, the life of an inter-county hurler is so serious. I think we can all agree, the three boys here, that we're able to mix the balance and have the fun and have the crack. Maybe that's why we didn't win as much, maybe, but certainly the game has changed. I'm not a fan of the short puck out, and I'm certainly not a fan of the sweeper. And I see it even in camogie circles. Tom would know this from his camogie world as well. We have teams now and people involved in underage camogie squads. Now, nothing against camogie, but at boys and girls at under 12 and under 14 blitzes, and you see these fools over teams and they're training with sweepers, and that just ruins the child's future and their outlook on hurling. I'm so disappointed. if you answer your question, fan the puck out, make the ball heavier, and get rid of the sweeper. Now what do we do?
And Adrian, you're right too, Adrian. I was just kind of with the Camogie. It was the purest game of them all, you know. But Adrian, myself, and I'd say you, Sam, we follow Camogie big time. We've youngsters involved in things, not youngsters now, but it was the purest game, and I was really disappointed in the last couple of years, in particular, to see one of the major counties applying a sweeper. I was crazy. But just to give you a contrast, Michael, I remember, and you'd know the Muckle boys up there, Adrian. Buffers Alley played them in a practice match back in, I think it was in the 80s, the Mourns and the Morrisseys, Tough Men or whatever. But we went up to Bagnallstown, and my father was treasurer at the time, and Lord of mercy on him, but he came into the dressing room after the game and he said, lads, no more practice matches with this crowd, with this Kilkenny crowd. He said, we're after breaking 26 hurls today, he says, and it'll break the club. So I don't think we'll have any games like that again. But then you'd always get that up in Kilkenny anyway, Michael. You know, they take the ball off your nose, you know.
Just on that, something you said earlier, Tom, and I just put this to you, Sambo. Like, you can't really pull on like if you pull now and it's seen in any way wild. That's why the overhead pull is nearly extinct now, because it's seen as wild and dangerous because it's so rare in the game now. Like, there's nothing, the rules haven't changed in hurling. You're still allowed pull on a ball in the air, and you're still allowed clash a lad under a high ball. But it's almost like when referees hear ash on ash, it's like, oh, free, yellow card, Jesus, do we need to put him to the line? It's amazing how it's changed.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like, the game has really evolved. Like, if like, I made a career out of catching balls and driving her down the field, and everybody clapped, you were a hero. Now, if you done that, they would take you off. You know, like, nobody pulls a ball on the ground now, and if there's a ruck at all, if anybody even attempts to pull, it's a free. Like, when you're coaching kids now, it's all, you know, it's all very much different, and the refs are even refereeing different. If you hear a clash in the stick, you know, people are nearly wanting you sent off. You know, the crowd, you can hear the crowd roaring. They're not used to it anymore, and that they're like, it's sad in a way, but the game has evolved. But I do believe it'll come back to the sweeper thing and that there. Like I was along with Brian Cody a couple of Saturday nights ago, and there's life after hurling with Brian. He was very friendly and not the headmaster sort of personality he usually does. He was very open and it was good crack, like, and we had a good conversation. He believes the same. Like it's such a great game with such passion for it. It's sad to see it, you know, been kind of these like some of the tactics going on, letting your half back line take puck outs and run up the field and score points, and you just sit and wonder. You're watching at times like, what is the tactics here? And sometimes it's hard to explain, especially against this Limerick team. Everybody's trying everything against it. Nothing's working, and you just keep coming. But the game is it's as Tom's ex-manager says, it was Riverdance that, you know, it was our Riverdance. It was beautiful and out there, and we all loved that passing and pulling the sticks and man, and maybe, but it spilled over at times here and there. But it was such a warrior sort of thing, and that's where it developed from. And I think if that's part of our history, you're fighting for your parish, you're fighting for your county. That's what the GA is about, and God forbid the day we'll ever lose that. And hopefully it'll come back to a bit more sensible sort of hurling, where it's not all about the computer program stuff, short puck outs, hit this, blah blah. You know, like if you're coaching kids now, I find, like, you know, when you ask them to play centre back, you nearly need to tell them what to do in every situation that happens in that there. Like I have young kids, like, I'm involved with their under 15s there. We won the under fella there, and we have a great young guy playing centre back. But there's times he's wanting you to tell him exactly what to do in every situation. And we all know that the game evolves, and kids have to learn and develop and make mistakes and read the game yourself. You've got to learn to read the game and that there. And I think that's a bit of it. We're losing that. Like the Empire boys there, the individual style that they both had was it was off the cuff. It was natural. You didn't know what Adrian or Tom was going to do at times, and you had to be really up for it. And
hey, Tom didn't know himself at times.
Yeah,
I think
that,
Tom, to be honest with you.
that was the great advantage I had, Sambo. I didn't know myself. I knew that day in Cushendall I wanted to get away from you. That's all I knew. Things were going. But as well, Michael. Lo and behold, lads, if you pass the ball back to the goalkeeper, you would have been taken off in Buffers Alley years ago if you threw the ball back. Whereas now they're using the goalkeeper as an extra man. But the other thing where I think the problem is, I know what the lads think, the analysis. I just happened to be at a coaching forum there recently. The analysis they're doing, like the turnovers, where the puck outs are landing, what a player he's had 10 possessions, he can. Jesus, lads, it's robbing. I think Sambo, you touched on it, and you were dead right. It's robbing these young people of their genius or their reactionary thing. Like, I mean, hurling for me still is a reactionary game, and I think we have to be careful. At some levels that we don't take that away from them. Now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think instinct is the word, isn't it? Like hurling instinct.
Yes, that's the word I was looking.
And you don't want to be over-coaching, lads. It's that instinct. And to be honest, all the best players still have that instinct and still have there's like Keane Lynch always plays on instinct. He plays to a game plan, but he plays on instinct a lot of the time as well. Hegarty the same. But in saying that, lads, while the game has changed, like last year's Munster final had all the blood and guts of a game from 20 or 30 years ago with the skill of the modern day as well.